little Kit Kats. Welcome into my YouTube channel. I am so happy to be here for my first live with all of you. This is the live, let me take a look here, Craft and Chat live collaboration hosted by Leah at Make All the Things With Me. So we have 30 minutes together this afternoon, guys. We're gonna get started right away. There will be a playlist that you will find in the description of my live that you can refer back to watch all the replays from today. I hope you're able to do that. If you are able to join me this afternoon, please say hello so I can welcome you in, and let's get started. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you don't mind hitting that like, that thumbs up would be amazing. And if you are new to me, I would so love if you could subscribe to my channel. I want you to know that up after me today, we have a list of amazing crafters is Cindy from Cindy's Creations, but please check back to the playlist that is in the description today to see all the crafters that will be put there after each of us go live today. There is my sweet Donna Sue. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it so much. Good afternoon, sweet Kim. So today, guys, we're gonna do something kind of fun. We have 30 minutes together today. So I am kind of getting into journaling. I don't know if any of you do that kind of thing, or card making, scrapbooking, all the things. Hey, sweet Tracy, nice to have you. So I have some cardstock paper out here, and what you need for these type of things so that we can do some really fun blending is any of the distressed oxides that you can pick up from many places, craft stores. Amazon has these, the Tim Holtz. You do have to have the distressed oxide inks to do what we're gonna do today. Hi, sweet Corey. So I have several of them, and we're gonna kind of make some background pieces. Hi, my beautiful Giselle. For card making, for starting a journal, my printer just does not print like I wish it would, so that I can print out all the amazing kits for journaling. And I thought, well, I can get paper and I can make some of my own. So we're gonna do a few together, and then I'll show you a few that I've done as well, just to kind of give you some ideas on how you can zhuzh these up just a little bit. So I want to thank Leah. I didn't see her pop on yet, but I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for joining me on my first YouTube live, guys. So much fun. All right, we have our paper. You need a couple of these little makeup brushes. You can find these at sometimes your local dollar stores. You can also order these little guys, and they come, if you want to order extra, you can get extra little heads on these so that you're using a different one for each color of your ink. And then you decide what colors you want to use. I have a ton of different ones here. My favorite, of course, is the Vintage Photo Distress Oxide, but I have tumbled glass, tea dye, all the colors. And even if, hi, my beautiful Kimberly, hi, Veerlyn. Even if you don't have some of the colors that you think you might like, what we're gonna do to this and how we can kind of blend it and have it come up with some different colors is we're going to use some water in combination with this. We're going to kind of flick that water on there, and it's going to do some amazing changes, and you're going to see how fun it is. So I hope that you try this if you have these. They also have them in the tiny little sizes, and what I need to get is one of those cases to hold all the things together. So let's start with our Vintage Photo here. How is everybody doing today? Is the weather nice where you are? I am in Wisconsin. It is quite beautiful and super warm here. And we're gonna come in on just the outside edges of this, just kind of light-handed, and go all the way around that border. Hi, sweet Cindy, so nice to see you. So Cindy is up after me today in this amazing live Craft and Chat collab, we'll call it, right? Like I said, that playlist is in the description, and we will all be added into that after our live today. So if you're not able to watch right away live, you can definitely watch on replay. Hi, Pam. Nice to have you. And I just kind of go in soft little circular motions. You could probably use, you know, the little makeup sponges if you don't have these available to you. I'm so glad that you are, Giselle. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. And I myself like to go just a little heavier on the corners. I'm so super new to journaling. And I see all these amazing things out there that you can do for ephemera and printing all these kits and my printer just does not handle it. And I thought, I can definitely get scrapbook paper. You could do some of this kind of fun stuff on anything really. I can get myself some cardstock and I will just make those pages myself, you know? All right, so that's kind of what we have. Hi, Pam, nice to see you too, hon. All right, that's the first color. Then let's do, just for fun, I really want to try this tumbled glass. We have a little like thrifty craft store near us. Hey, sweet Sheila, nice to have you. And they have so many things in there at such a reasonable price. It is ridiculous. So this little Tim Holtz ink pad was $1.25, if you can believe that. Hey, Fraps and Scraps, nice to have you. So I just put on a new little sponge on the end of this here. Sometimes I find when my ink gets a little bit dry, just spritz it a bit with just a little bit of water. And then when I store these, hi Valerie, I store them upside down to kind of keep that ink towards the surface. So that helps a lot. This is so much fun, guys. How exciting to try something different, right? And even if there wasn't a lot of ink in this pad for $1.25, it was definitely worth it, right? There is sweet Leah. Thank you so much for having me today, sweetheart. That's our host in the comments. Make all the things with me. All right, not bad. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to cover every little bit of the white if you don't want to. And you could do this on large pieces of cardstock also, your typical letter size. Well, thank you so much. Hi, Lori, nice to see you. If you are a little bit new to watching me, you can definitely find me over 25 cents, right? I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, I can be okay with that loss if it doesn't work very good, right? So you can also find me on Facebook at Keli-Kat Crafts. But then I would love to have you subscribe here. Also, if you see something that you like today, it would be super great to have you. And then I would encourage you as well to check out our other crafters today. I think we have 16 total. Just refer back to the description here today for the playlist and you will see everybody there. Thank you, sweet Cindy, I appreciate it, okay? Nothing too perfect, however you wanna do it. You don't have to, you know, work your way in from the edges. If you want a whole bunch of different colors here, go ahead and do that. So we used Vintage Photo Distressed ink, and this one is called Tumbled Glass. And then let's do a little of this Tattered Rose. So I can just switch this right off the end of here, little Velcro on there, put the other one on, and let's add this last color. Or attempt to. And I see all the little tiny distress ink oxides, the little small ones. I would really love to get some of those too, and they have some really fun little cases for them. So we're gonna go to the inside here. Plus this is super fun to try. And I've done a few of these in the past, and I'll show you, I put one on the top of a blank journal cover that then you can kind of embellish however you would like to for maybe what your journal theme is going to be. These work fantastic. So I'm kind of having fun just playing a little bit, you know? All right, that's cool. I like that. Then I might just come back with a little bit of the Vintage Photo, just kind of here and there. Let's cover those up. So at this point, and I just have like a little piece of scrap paper under here. Thank you, Judy, nice to see you. You want a little mister bottle or whatever you have for a little spray bottle with just some plain water in it. And what I do is I spray it on my hand first, and then I kind of flick it onto my paper. As much or as little as you want. You're gonna see all those little water droplets. And then kind of right before your eyes, the magic is gonna happen. And like I said, you do need to make sure they're the distressed ink pads. This won't work with regular ink. I appreciate you guys subscribing. Thank you so much. And thank you for those likes. That is so kind of you. Then I just leave this sit a little bit. And I'm gonna hold it a little closer here so you can kind of see what's happening. See all those little water droplets on there? It's just doing this little process here that water makes a change on those oxides. And you wait as long as you want. If you see that there's not quite enough of it going on, just spritz a little bit more water on your hand and flick a little bit more on there. So you can really get particular if you want to make sure this is all blended out. I myself just kind of go with it and let it be. Then get yourself a paper towel handy. And when you think it's good, I just kind of fold my paper towel here. I lay it on the top and I just kind of press just to kind of get up that excess water that might still be on there. What did everybody do for the 4th yesterday? And did you have a safe holiday? I hope you did. Okay, this is just kind of removing that excess water, and you just kind of want to pat it to remove it. And then you just get this really fun and cool look, kind of distressed. You can come back in here with other colors of the inks if you want to, or you can just do your decorating on these pages also. So that is super pretty, very different, right? So let's try one more together. Do I have another one here? I do. Let's just see. Let's do a little of this. This is called Weathered Wood. Thank you, Tracy. We actually went to a summer fest, it's called. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's about an hour from us, and it was so hot, you guys. You got to see your granddaughters, that's so nice. I get to have my granddaughter over tomorrow for a bit, and then I watch her several days a week. So I always look forward to those days. All right, so I'm kind of trying to come in, and we'll try our best to blend this out a little bit better. You spend time with your son, Tracy? That's happy. Hi, Miriam, so nice to have you. It's always wonderful to spend time with family, right? This summer fest we went to, there's a lot of free concerts. They have a whole bunch of different stages there. There's lots of vendors, food, you name it, they have it. It's quite large. Well, hey, sweet Megan, how are you, darling? So good to see you. I am in Wisconsin. And this is in Milwaukee, if you've ever heard of that city. It's about an hour south from me. It's very expensive, let me tell you. But we saw some good bands. They have country, they have rock. I mean, over the years, the 3 or 4 times that we've gone, and it's like a 2-weekend event. Hey, sweet Carrie, so nice to have you. Thank you for joining me. Some of them are paid for concerts, some of like the bigger names, I will say. But there's always some 80s bands there. There's always somebody that we know that we want to see, and they're on a free stage, which is pretty fun. They have a little area for kids, like a little wading pool kind of thing, and that's really fun for kids. I gotta tell you, we actually have put our feet in there many a time. You're in Washington State and everything is so, it's just crazy to me. I wanted one of those big, soft, juicy pretzels that you can get. I am very frugal, guys. I love to go thrifting. I love to upcycle thrifted items. And even if I'm buying something new, I hate paying full price, you know? So my fiance always, you know, gives me a little ribbon here and there because I'll have just a moment about how expensive something is. And he'll say, you know, they don't have a free aisle at this store. It's so true. We're gonna try a little bit of this Victorian velvet with this pretty blue here. Weathered wood is what I just put down. And so we're up at the window and she gives us our total and it's 20 bucks. 20 bucks for a pretzel. And I was like, are you kidding me? You know, like, cancel the order. That's just too much. Everything is basically cashless, so you have to use your card for everything. And it was a large jumbo pretzel, but then you paid extra if you wanted a little cup of cheese. So I was don't know, I was just in a little bit of shock, I guess. It was like $20. Isn't that crazy? These work wonderfully. In fact, I think I got this on Amazon. But you can find them at most of your craft stores too. And then you can get like a sleeve of the extra little sponge tip ends there. And it's really fun to do, I gotta tell you that. Yeah, 20 bucks, and then, was it like $2 extra maybe for a little tiny cup of cheese, you know? Now, oftentimes you can get tickets for free through some of the radio stations. I'm coming back with a little bit of that weathered wood we put down. That is insane, wasn't it? It was probably the best pretzel I ever had, but $20 pretzel, I don't know. But otherwise, tickets to get in, I think, are 30 bucks a piece. And we were there, I will say, probably a good 10, 12 hours. They actually did a drone show instead of fireworks. Or is it just a one-time use? You can definitely reuse them, sweet Miriam, hon. And that was cool. I mean, it was only about 15 minutes long, and it was pretty quiet during that time. There wasn't any music, you know, that it was done to or what have you. Right? Golden pretzel. I thought so too. Greg was laughing. He's like, that's not bad. And I'm like, are you kidding me? To me, that's bad. So let's just use these two colors. And I'm now gonna come on kind of the inside here. I am quite sure this came from Amazon, and then you can get the little replacements. Food, but not now anymore. Isn't that crazy? And we did eat someplace else beforehand, because any place we ate in, you know, in Milwaukee, in that city, was going to be cheaper than what it was going to be to have an actual meal, you know, at the Summerfest grounds. But then that doesn't even count parking. Chardon Sign Shack, hi, how are you? Thank you for joining. So parking, if you wanted to be pretty close to the event grounds, I think the cheapest was $45 to park. I know. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just frugal, because holy cow. So we did not pay the $45. My fiance, Greg, he's really good at all of that kind of stuff, and going in and like reserving tickets, and you can reserve your parking ahead of time, and once you're there and parked, you can pin your location, which is pretty cool. Isn't that just crazy, Sheila? Oh my God. And so by the time, you know, really you're done, it's an expensive day, because you also, I don't know, like, it's fun to have a little snack there, you know. We had a little ice cream at the end of the night. We're gonna get our water out here. To cover the expensive, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. And the vendor stuff is not, it's definitely not super cheap either. There's not a ton of them, but enough. And some of those that are trying to kind of sell you something as you walk by, you know, anything like that. And I'm used to, like you're saying, a small town, little county fair near where we live. Hi, Diane, sweet lady. Thank you so much for joining. All right, this one's looking pretty cool. Get my little paper towel back out here. So we had ice cream at the end of the night. The last concert that we wanted to see didn't start until 10:15. So by the time we got home, it was like 1 o'clock. And a little 1 scoop turtle sundae was $8, I want to say, something like that. Okay, so I just give it a little bit. It happens really quickly. And kind of when you're happy with it, just put that paper towel down and kind of pat it a little bit. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And boy, you see people from all walks of life, I gotta tell you. It's fun to just people watch. But it was hot. Oh my gosh. Very, very warm. A bottle of water was $6. Wow, $6. But you can't bring anything else in. You know, they're very strict about that. You can't bring in, of course, food or drink. You can bring in a little bag, but it has to meet certain size requirements. You go through security. It's very good. You know, I like that kind of thing. Okay, so there's our second piece. Isn't that fun? I love how that turned out. Then you can just let these air dry, or if you have a little heat tool, you can dry them a little bit. Thank you, Lori. So let me show you. So these are a little bit damp. We can't do a whole lot on these, but I've done a few of these ahead of time. So here's another one I did. And then I just use all kinds of various stamps that I have. Thank you. Thank you so much. And stamped all over here with different things and just kind of played around and had fun with them. So pretty. Get yourself a little corner cutter. I don't know if that's the right verbiage for these, but you stick it in. This one has a small, medium, or large opening here. You stick it in whatever one you want, push down, and you get a nice little rounded corner. Hey, Stephanie, thank you. So it looks pretty professional, right? Thank you, Pam. Thank you so much, Giselle. This is just a cardstock. Super fun and, you know, I think very reasonable. Then where's the other one here? I did this one a little bit different. I just wanted to kind of experiment, and that is a black soot distressed ink. And what else did I use on there? I think I used the Victorian Velvet, which is that soft pink. Thank you, Miriam. And it actually, when it kind of did its distressing with the water, it kind of looks like a lavender, doesn't it? Aren't they so much fun, Lori? Thank you, Carrie. I really had a fun time doing them. Now you can also dye some of your papers if you want. In fact, on my YouTube videos, I had shared something recently about dyeing papers, envelopes, tags, fabric, lace, all that stuff by using avocado skins and pits. I had never done it before. Thank you, sweet Kim. Yeah, they're really fun to do. Thank you. And I tried it for the first time, and I would love you to go and check that video out. It's a lot of fun. I did not know what color I was gonna get, and this is the color that I got with avocado skins and pits and a little bit of baking soda. It's quite easy to do. It takes a little bit of time to create kind of the liquid that you submerge all of these items into, but it was so worth it. And if you have anything, any of that liquid left over, you just put it in a little mason jar and you can freeze it and reuse it. So this is just a plain, you know, legal envelope that was white. It was so much fun to do. Let's see here. This one is just a piece of cardstock. And so you get varying colors, and depending on how long you leave it in there. So I could just fold this up and do some stamping, or, you know, add some stenciling or stickers or doilies or any of that kind of ephemera stuff and kind of make my own pages. So here is another one. That's the cardstock, and I just kind of did those rounded corners. And then on the front of this one, I did a bunch of different stenciling. I used some wax paste and a stencil right here just to give it kind of a fun little look. And the ink that I use when I do the stamping, I only have these two currently. It's Ranger Archival ink. They are permanent. And you know, you can find stamps sometimes at the dollar store. Maybe you have some that you can use and just kind of play around and have fun with it, right? It looks like leather. Isn't it crazy? So if you don't use the baking soda, then it, from what I understand, you kind of get a more of like a tea stained look to your paper. This is a tag that I stuck in that liquid. And while it was drying outside in the sun, I took a little paper doily and I just laid it right over the top while this was wet. And when it was good and dry, I removed it and I had that nice imprint of that little doily there. How fun is that? Some of them that were kind of closer to the bottom of the solution got some really neat markings on it. Let me show you some lace. This was a super bright white lace, and you can see that by dyeing it with that same liquid. Never would have guessed avocados, right? Me either. So it's very varied how it looks, and I love that. This could be used for primitive. Isn't that so much fun? You could do this, thank you, Corey, in your journaling if you use a lot of lace. I use lace when I'm crafting. I love making something I call my Keli-Kat bundles, which is lace and other fabric pieces. I think that's beautiful in there. Some small little lace pieces on some of the edges that were kind of sticking out of the solution. They got a little bit darker. I was really excited that it worked. So on an envelope, let's just kind of see here. Well, let's just take the one that we did here. Let's dry it just a little bit. Funky Junk Inspiration, thank you so much. We'll just dry this one a little bit, and I'll kind of start for the last 5 minutes we have together today to show you what I kind of mean by stamping. Cranberry juice, that's such a good idea, Kim. Or you could use beets to do your dyeing. You, of course, can do tea, you can do coffee. I know there's a really nice, like a coffee podge mix that you can make. I just take whatever might be left over in my coffee pot and soak my pieces in there for as long as I choose until I'm happy with the color, and it's fantastic. So much fun. Probably a lot of things that we have in our pantry or in our refrigerator we can use to do some crafting stuff, right? It really is, Tracy. I agree. So I had always heard about this, doing it with the avocados, and I was like, I have just got to try that. Hey, Cindy, so nice to have you. Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it. Easter egg dye, yes, I didn't even think about that. But you could definitely pick up a lot of that kind of stuff on clearance, right? So here's my little corner cutter, and it just gets stuck in, and then you cut down and you get a nice little rounded corner. There's a small, a medium, and a large on here. It's really fun. You can take some of those distressed inks or even the archival ink that I showed you and kind of do the edges if you want to darken them a little bit. Let's do that. Is this the one I used? I think so. Let's take a little bit of that weathered wood and just kind of hit the edges a little bit. I see lots of people doing the inking, right? Last time I got that on my hands and didn't think it was ever gonna come off. Yes, I definitely wore gloves when I did it. Try the avocados, Tracy. I have a little, a little video shared right here on my channel. I think it's pretty easy to follow. And it was a lot of fun. I think you would enjoy it. So then you can do, both sides of this. Use this in a journal and you would be able to deck out or embellish both of the sides, right? So I'm just kind of hitting those edges. It just gives it a little bit more of a finish off look if you're even able to see that. Well, I'm so glad you think so. Thank you so much. I feel exactly the same way. Then let's just take, and some of the stamps that I have, I mean, they come from kind of all over. Amazon, the dollar store, wherever. Thank you so much. Wherever I can find them very reasonable or on clearance. I'm a big lover of like the vintage look, the script look. So I have one of these acrylic stamping blocks. I will put it down on there. I just started using the archival ink in the color sepia, and that's quite nice. Otherwise, I just use black. Get yourself a little baby wipe because sometimes the ink is gonna get on your block or, you know, areas of your stamp where you don't necessarily want it. There's my black. So I just do it like this. It can be, I think so too, Kim, for sure. Or if you do cards, you know, or to send, make a little bookmark, I think would be beautiful to do something like that with. If you send somebody a card for their birthday, which I am big on doing, you could include one of those in there as just a little something special, right? All right, so I'm just gonna lie this down here, apply some pressure. I always keep my hand in one spot to hold it down so that it's not moving on me. Well, Cindy, I hope you do. It's a lot of fun. I'm really liking it. And I'm also quite new to the stamping world. But I know as crafters, you know, sometimes new things come out and we're like, ooh, I want to do that. Ooh, I want to do that. And it can get expensive. So check your dollar stores if you have them. And so that's a good start with just that pretty little script. Do some flowers. You can put some wording on there. You can get the really fun little ephemera packs of things at Hobby Lobby where you get just a whole bunch of paper things for crafting. Thank you, Cindy. All kinds of things like these. You could stamp on the back and write a little note to somebody. Thank you, Corey. Little stamps, just fun little things. And again, I never ever pay full price for them. So I hope that you guys are inspired to maybe try this. I encourage you to. It's a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys joining me for my first YouTube live today. I would love to have you subscribe. Please stay tuned. Check that playlist description in my live description today so that you can watch replays of all the crafters. And let's go give Cindy a watch from Cindy's Creations. Give her a little bit of support. So nice to have you all. Thank you, Megan. And I will see you all in the comments of the remaining crafters today. Thank you, sweet Leah, for having me. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye, guys. Just have to figure out how to stop the live. There we go.